Patreon Q&A number 65, part 2. Part 1 was released earlier today. I still want to thank all 91 of my incredible patrons. Guys, that is a lot of support, and I am beyond thankful, and I love you so much. To everyone else listening, there's going to be spoilers in these questions and answers, so tread carefully. Brushyboi asks, Howdy Shonen, I think you mentioned in a previous video that you've gotten somewhat into Mob Psycho. So my question is, how would you see a fight going between Mob and Deku? Mob at 5% and Deku using 5. Alternately, them both at 100%. Forgive me if this question has been asked before, spoilers are fine. The question hasn't been asked, and even if it has, you guys can ask any question you want, it's all good. So, I've only viewed Mob Psycho Season 1 and Season 2 like once now, so I'm not like an expert on Mob. I'm going to get really into it when Season 3 is announced. But for now, I'll give you somewhat of a rough answer, and I think it's more or less accurate. I don't know. You'll be the judge in the end, of course, but I think at 5%, Deku is a little too much for Mob. Like, 5% of One For All is more powerful, in my opinion, than 5% of Mob's power. Also, Deku is way more skilled than Mob. Mob's kind of like freestyle. Deku is more methodical and trained, both self and, teacherly taught at the same, academically taught at the same time. So I think he would take him out. But when we go to 100%, I think it's leaning more towards in Mob's favor at that point. So we've seen more of Mob at 100% than we have seen at Deku at 100%. But given that Mob is more of a wild card at that percentage, he's probably going to be able to get the job done here. They're both like pretty much city busters at that point, maybe even more. But I just feel like Mob's, like I said, wild card unpredictability and just overall supernatural crazy abilities that he has kind of supersedes Deku's 100% One For All. Now, of course, they both have the inherent abilities to go past 100% if need be. Like Mob can go into the question mark percentage, and Izuku can tap into the Vestige's power and just become more outrageous in that department. But I just still feel that, like, Mob would probably win, at least right now, until we see more of what Deku is capable of, especially once he unlocks all of the quirks that the Vestiges can provide him. Then I'm sure it will be a much different fight at that point. But right now, it would basically be like Mob 100% versus like a mini All Might that can kick and use black whips. And it would be a high diff fight for both of them, at least in my opinion, because, All Might is no easy feat for anyone, but I think Mob would probably edge this one out at 100%. MemePriest asks, Hey Shonen, I have a very interesting question. Can Saitama be affected by soul stealing or manipulation abilities? For example, let's say Darby beats Saitama in a poker game. Could his stand Osiris take Saitama's soul? So this is a great question, and I love this sequence from JoJo. One of my favorite sequences in just anime, period. So well done. It's marvelous. But as for Saitama being affected by this stuff, it's difficult to say because we haven't really seen him deal with anything like this yet. And I always say we're probably going to see it towards the end of the series when he allegedly fights God. Then we'll see how he deals with like this type of supernatural, fourth dimensional stuff. But if I were just taking a guess, I would say that he could probably muscle out of this. So again, it's difficult to say because we're dealing with two different worlds, two different continuities of power conflicting with one another. But given that, like, if you're really powerful in JoJo, you can kind of muscle out of a stand ability. Now, we don't really see it too much, but given that Star Platinum was able to muscle out of the world, I think it's possible that if you're strong enough, you could just muscle out of something. Now, some people just say, well, Star Platinum had a very similar effect to the world, and that's why he was able to do what he did. But I think it goes more so into being just super powerful, and you can just get out of something. Like, I don't think a stand ability is just set in stone. Like, whomever it does it to, they're just going to die, and that's it. They have to play by the rules. I don't think that's the case, and I don't think that is the way that world works either. So if we get somebody with, like, Saitama, who could, serious punch away the world, I think that he can probably muscle out of somebody who's not at the apex of power in the JoJo world, like Darby, using Osiris's ability. And also, if we really get pedantic with it, like the admitting defeat in your heart thing, Saitama would never do that. So it's really debatable if the effect would really even work on him, or so many variables. But in the end, just my opinion, I think Saitama could probably just fight it off. I don't think he would lose his soul. Paxson D asks, Hey man, it's been a while for me. Sorry, been busy. Hey, it's no problem, Paxson. I appreciate your continued support so much, and I'll have your video request out this week. Your vids are getting even better. Hope you've been well. I have, and I hope you have been too, Paxson. So grab the top 10 strongest characters from My Hero, from the anime. Sorry, I haven't caught up with the manga, no problem. Going inside the Monster Association, how did they go? Also, I know Psychos matched up the monsters to the S-Class heroes to give them the best advantage their way. What do you think the reverse would be? What would the best matchup for each S-Class versus the cadres? Anyway, man, have a great week. I'll see you next time. Hey, you too, Paxson. So the 10 strongest My Hero characters from the anime currently wouldn't do too well in the Monster Association. They're just not powerful enough to deal with these type of characters yet. Now, All Might, if we're just taking any from any continuity, All Might would have the best chance of taking these guys down. Only he can really deal with something like that. Now, the other heroes and the other strongest characters aren't completely useless. Like, we have the USJ Nomu in there. Even Endeavor could do some stuff to get the job done, but when we start getting to, like, the more powerful ones, like Homeless Emperor and Black S, Goketsu if he's still around, Elder Centipede, we're really going to need All Might for that. And then it's going to be like Prime All Might to even start to get the job done against the Monster Association. Like, I think Prime All Might could probably take them out. Just taking a guess, of course, that might trigger some people. I'm sorry if it does, but the One Punch Man power scale, especially when we're going to like Dragon level, is just like too much for My Hero characters. Even like All for One being thrown in there, the nerfed one that we saw in season 3, they're just like too powerful, and there's just too much of them to deal with like the top 10, because even in the top 10 of My Hero, it's just top heavy at that point. So that's for your second question. I think a good reverse would be like Pig God taking on Black S. I think that if Black S went into that with the element of surprise and he didn't know what Pig God could do, I think Pig God could probably just eat him. Like, just take his base form and just eat him, and then he just dissolve him as he tries to multiply, and would kind of render that useless. So he could probably one-shot him if he can get the jump on him. And then Atomic Samurai versus Homeless Emperor, I think that's a wash right there. He's just way too fast for Homeless Emperor. He would just Atomic Slash him right off the bat. And even if he didn't, I think he could probably deflect Homeless Emperor's blast, because he was able to deflect Orochi's lightning. So why not, you know? But it's debatable, of course. And then I think Tatsumaki would probably be the best bet to take down Evil Natural Water, because she already kind of took him down anyway, although she didn't get the job done, of course. And then Bang, I would stick with him with Fear Ugly. And then My Mask would probably do well against Gums, just taking a guess, of course, or maybe Child Emperor. It seems like Gums is very limited in his method of attack, so versatile guys like a My Mask and Child Emperor would probably do better against him. ShadowBatX asks, how's it going, one above all shonen? Love you as always. Hey, thanks, ShadowBat. I love you too. Can't wait to see more of your videos. Chapter 123 brought in the hype, since I've been waiting for those big revealing panels ever since I discovered the webcomic. Also, Darkshine vs. Garo could be next. It very well likely might be. And yeah, the second half of the chapter was aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, you're telling me. So, you know, the original plan had to come up with the S-Class was supposed to fight Orochi, but what if it was Boros instead? I can imagine in the released form they could have a 50-50 chance of defeating him, since it's all of them fighting him at once. If they were to fight Meteoric Burst form, probably not win. Since Saitama isn't in the picture, this could mean Blast, aka Bearded Worker, aka Saitama's biological father, could step in and take on Boros if the S-Class can. Also, Blast would do a classic Dio walk as he approaches Meteoric Burst form Boros, also Blast type. Bearded Worker is the only one that said this could be Disaster Level God when Boros invaded, which meant that he could have been debating if he had to step up. What do you think of this scenario? Yes, I do think that would definitely happen, and I think that would have happened originally. If the S-Class, or what they perceived the S-Class taking down Boros, wasn't able to get the job done, Bearded Worker would have took his tie and his shirt off, revealed that he was Blast, and then taken out Boros. So that mainly goes into what I think would happen in this scenario, and I do think Blast could probably take care of Boros, even in Meteoric Burst form. I know that's a little outrageous to say, considering that the only feat that we know of Blast is taking down the strongest ninja and Elder Centipede, but just that alone, and given that he's number 1 in the S-Class, and by the time he's revealed in the story, he's going to have to be exceptionally powerful, especially since I think he's probably going to fight Saitama. I assume that he's probably going to be stronger than Boros, if not strong enough to be able to take down somebody like Meteoric Burst, like High Diff or something like that. I just think that he's enough by himself to get the job done here. I don't think that, like, if Saitama wasn't around, no one could get the job done. I think Blast is that one, especially if he's like the pseudo Superman of this world. Last question. Could Hero Hunter Garo beat Deep Sea King hydrated? Dehydrated and hydrated forms. I would assume that he would beat the dehydrated form, no problem. But when it comes to hydrated form, not entirely sure. I don't think he faced an enemy that huge. In the hero hunting version, what's the outcome of this battle? So I think that Hero Hunter Garo could probably take care of hydrated Deep Sea King as well. It would be super high diff for him, but I don't see him losing this one. Mainly because he has so many hacks on his side. And also, he's just so much more skilled than Hydrated Deep Sea King. And Hydrated Deep Sea King kind of like, I don't know, loses more of his fighting abilities in that form. He becomes more hulking and brutish. It's really debatable, but he gets bigger, of course. But I think that Hero Hunter Garo, given that what we've seen against him in like Tank Top Master, I think he could probably get the job done. And just taking a guess, of course. People call me the Stan of Garo, as you are about to. And also, if you don't know what to call the small horn form of Garo, why not call it the end of Garo's fan base? Which is why he says, "Don't leave me," at the end of the battle with Saitama. What do you think of Garo's Stan? Have fun reading that out loud. Actually, don't answer that. And quickly, go to the next question after answering my last question anyways. 22.5? Come on, Shonen. How can half of someone subscribe to you at that time? But regardless, I'm excited. Whatever your next video could be, and take care, my best friend. Hey, you take care too, Shadow. And spoiler, my next video is probably going to be How Powerful is King. SLURM asks, how's it hanging, dude? It's not too bad, SLURM. Thanks for asking. I hope it's going well for you, too. My question is about One Punch Man. Not sure if you've already covered this, but what's the difference between executive and cadre? I see those words thrown around, but it seems like they mean the same thing, right? Have a good one. So you're absolutely right, SLURM. They do mean the same thing. It just ultimately comes down to translation. So executive and cadre basically mean like big shot, main elite member of whatever association they're associated to. But executive is the term that the Viz translation, the official translation, uses for those characters. And cadre is the term that HGX514 uses when he translates his chapters. He's the one that just does it, for free, pretty much. He just does it out of his own free will. And those are the chapters that we get when they're immediately released. The Viz chapters don't get translated for like another year or something around that time after they're released. So I say cadre because that's what's on the page, when we see them, when the chapters are immediately released. So it's just simpler that way rather than just saying executive, but it's pretty much the same thing. Wolfpup asks, Sensei, please describe the beautiful Buki in 20 words or less. Also, let's accept the fact that she shielded both Bang and Bomb with her Psychic Barrier against a blast, no pun intended, from an executive member, Disaster Level Dragon over Rover. That attack is no joke. I agree. Very impressive feat from Fubuki, and I'm glad that Murata did it so well. So let's describe Fubuki in 20 words or less. She is the most aesthetically appealing female character I've ever seen in manga or anime. No cap. Ola Shonen, Wolf here. My first question is, have you watched the anime show called Dororo? What class rank would you give Hyakimaru in his puppet form if he were to join the Hero Association? Would he be strong enough to take low demon monsters? I haven't seen Dororo extended. I've seen a few clips on YouTube here and there, but given of what I've seen of him so far, maybe he could high diff a low demon. I'm not going to say he's exactly too weak to do that, because maybe he could get the job done, but that's in my opinion, the limit of his power. I don't think he's going any further than that. Second question, Battle of the Fatties. The S-Class hero Pig God versus Snorlax from Pokemon versus the executive member Disaster Level Dragon Gums in a burger eating contest. Who you got? So Gums versus Pig God 1v1, he'd probably win, but I think Pig God and Snorlax are going to edge this one out, because I don't think Gums is going to beat Pig God too much. But if he were to get the help from Snorlax, I think he would just be able to consume enough to overtake Gums in this one. My last question, who is your favorite Akatsuki member from Naruto Shippuden? I would have to say Itachi. I mean, there's so many great ones, but Itachi, I know it's cliche, but he's just so cool. Especially by the end of the series. It's how can you not love that guy? Mine is Sasori of the Red Sand. What disaster level would you give Sasori in his puppet form equipped with the third Kazekage? If he joined the Monster Association, personally I would give him low to mid dragon. Somewhere in between, his most powerful arsenal is the third Kazekage, which retained its magnet release, a combination of wind and earth. The Iron Sand is the most feared weapon in the history of the Sand Village, which is developed by the third Kazekage. When used in sufficient quantities, the Iron Sand can be equipped with various ways in order to create useful weapons, ranging from large attack structures, bullets like particles, and multiple striking branches. I think he could be an executive. Your thoughts? Arigato. Hey, arigato, you too, Wolf Pup. So I think that I'm sorry, I don't think he's going to be a low or a mid dragon. He's very powerful, no doubt about that. The highest I can give him is high demon. I feel like I'm on Pawn Stars or something, but it just mainly because, like, yes, the abilities that he has is very impressive, especially when using the third Kazekage and the magnetic sand and what he could do with that, and especially when he makes like that spiked forest thing. Very awesome, but I don't know, the way that Sakura and Chio was dealing with him, especially Sakura, the way that she was like taking those attacks and avoiding them and stuff like that, it's kind of like pulling back on him. Like, imagine if that was like an S-class hero instead. I think it would be way too much for him. Now, if it was like A-class heroes, he would definitely wreck them. But like when we're going to A-class level, I mean, I don't think he's going to last too long, especially with all the stuff that he has. He's like a very effective spellcaster, like mage class almost, but speed, durability, and overall power is just not enough, in my opinion, to make it to dragon level. Zapphod B asks, if Combo Infinity, Withered Sprout, Sludge Jellyfish, and Dirt Worm fought Goketsu's 3 crows, how would that go? I think they would wreck them, honestly. I think Withered Sprout just by himself can just freeze them and they'd pretty much be done. But then Dirt Worm could just raise that gigantic wall and crush them. I think Sludge Jellyfish would probably struggle the most with them. But the 3 crows against all 3 of them. Oh yeah, and you have Combo Infinity. I think Combo Infinity could probably solo them, honestly. They didn't really impress me too much. I'm surprised that all 3 of them together are classified as a demon. It said in the last chapter that getting multiple threat level dragons together is almost impossible. So do you think we will see another coalition of dragons before the end of the series? Thanks as always, Shonen. Stay awesome. P.S. Wasn't lucky for Bang and Bomb that Fubuki was there to stop the blast from Rover, or they would have been vaporized. In theory, if they were hit by it, they probably would have been vaporized, or at least close to it. But I think if Fubuki wasn't there, they could have avoided it. They're definitely fast enough to avoid those things, especially if Garo is. But as for the dragons getting together, so I'm assuming that we're talking about monsters here, because I'm sure that there will be dragon level people, just whether if they're humans or ninjas or swordsmen or whatever, or the organization getting together. But if we're talking about monsters, I think the next time we're probably going to see it, something like that at least, maybe will be what I theorize as God's like group of powerful dudes towards the end of the series. Like, I think God's probably going to make like his own Akatsuki or a Rancor or Espada, something like that. And then that's when we're going to see like that. But aside from that, maybe like the organization, maybe they're all going to, their strongest dudes will probably be dragons or something like that, including Drive Knight. Legendaryus says, hey Shonen, I have a question this week. Thought of them when watching some videos on YouTube, including yours. If Bakugo were to take the quirk enhancing drug, would he be able to create explosions the size of nukes, or is it too far? I'm an anime only for the series, but I'm fine with spoilers anyway. I don't think I have to go into spoilers for this one, but I don't think he would be able to make nukes. So, Trigger, as it's called in Vigilantes, or the quirk-enhancing drug, as I don't think it gets named in the series yet, it really significantly enhances the power of the quirk. I mean, I'm sure since you said you're anime only, you recently saw that the thug with, like, the box cutter coming out of his forearm, what it did to his quirk. Like, that is a significant increase. So if Bakugo, who's already crazy powerful at this point in the story, I mean, if you're just going off of what we saw when he fought Izuku at the end of Season 3, he can create some crazy explosions if he really wants to. So magnify that to what we perceive the increase was off of the box cutter dude. It's like citywide explosions probably, which I guess is a nuke, or at least one of the first nukes it was. So maybe it would come close to like a Fat Man level thing if he focused all of his energy to like one ultra powerful AP shot or something like that. Maybe he could wipe a city away, possibly. But if we're talking about modern nukes, I don't think he's getting there. But he's approaching like Fat Man level, in my opinion, probably. That's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 91 of my awesome, incredible patrons, guys. I can't thank you enough, especially 91. That's amazing. I didn't think I'd get this far, but I'm so thankful for it. And if you would like to be in next week's Q&A, just simply check out my Patreon. The $5 tier will give you access to this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.